What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Dillian Whyte and Mike Tyson. Dillian Whyte says Mike Tyson may die in a comeback fight and warns Dillian Whyte and claims 53-year-old's bout versus Tyson Fury would be silly. Dillian Whyte has blasted silly suggestions that Mike Tyson could challenge Tyson Fury for the heavyweight title during his comeback. Okay, and he also had this to say. He said, "It makes no sense. That's silly. Mauricio and I are cool, but it's a very silly thing to say. He shouldn't be encouraging it. What if he comes back and dies in the ring? What's going to happen then? We've already got enough darkness and enough mud thrown on the sport as it is. We don't need any more." Fury, who of course dethroned the WBC king Deontay Wilder in February, claimed he accepted an offer to box Tyson in an exhibition bout and admits talks had not materialized. Of course, we know that. And Dillian Whyte also said this. He said, "It's all good watching someone do a 1-minute clip on Instagram. Getting back into the ring and fighting 12 3-minute rounds, don't get me wrong, he's probably still got power to chin a lot of guys, but at your age, your mind tells you your stuff. Your mind tells you stuff when your eyes see stuff, but your body won't allow you to do it. You can think you've got it, and you're still this and that, and you're going against these young guys. We've seen it happen time and time again with older guys coming back and fighting for a long time. It's just like, what's the point?" This is Dillian Whyte's statement. He also said, "You're a legend, Mike. You're a living legend. Be that and leave it alone. But we don't know people's financial situation, what they're doing, or what they've been through. He might just feel like he wants to test himself, but there are easier ways to test himself than coming back and fighting with these young guys, hungry guys. He might get seriously hurt, and that's the biggest worry for me." And those are the words of Dillian Whyte. Now, I think this is from Dillian Whyte. I think this is springed from the idea that Mauricio, and I think this is where the statement's coming from. Mauricio Sulaiman will reinstate Mike Tyson in the rankings if he returns seriously to the ring. And I think that Mike Tyson is a threat to what Dillian Whyte wants. Okay, Dillian Whyte has been waiting forever. Okay, and it's unfortunate for Dillian Whyte because he's not the main draw. He's a draw. Don't get me wrong. He can sell out O2 arenas and things like that, and people love to see him fight because he's a balls to the wall fighter. But he doesn't have like the star power like Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury took his opportunity, basically came out of the darkness and really surpassed a lot of people, including himself, Dillian Whyte. So he doesn't have that. He's not on that level either. And then you have Mike Tyson, a living legend, and he's a threat to what Dillian Whyte wants and is rightfully his, if you guys know what I mean. But my counterpunch on that is, I think Dillian Whyte's overreacting, because I think the idea of Tyson Fury is fighting Mike Tyson could mean, well, what if Mike wants to fight him 12 rounds? First of all, if it's exhibition, it won't be 12 rounds unless Mike looks good in those first 2 or 3 exhibitions, and people are going to flock to it. The numbers, the views will be out off the charts, especially if he's chinning these guys. Don't let him knock a couple of them out. Then his star power will rise even that much more. Okay. And what Dillian Whyte was like, yeah, it looks good when you're punching the bag. And Teddy Atlas said something that resembled this. Was anybody hitting him back? He doesn't doubt Mike's power, but at 53, it's hard for you to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. I remember Sugar Shane Mosley was talking about that. And fast as that fighter was, he got to a point where he wasn't able to react like he knows his mind wanted him to do. So that's what Dillian Whyte was talking about and was concerned with. Now, all these factors are true because we don't know. All this is experimental at this point. We don't know what Mike's going to do, first of all. We don't know how he will perform, second of all. And we don't know how far he's willing to take it, third of all. So we don't know any of this. We just know he's getting in shape. He's looking great. He's a living legend, but he's a living legend because of what? Because he can fight. And a lot of times people like that die hard. But him dying in the ring would be very tragic. And I know that's a fear or whatnot of Dillian Whyte, but I think the real fear is Mike Tyson taking his steam. Mike Tyson taking what he's fought his ass off to get, and because of the star power of Mike, the residual star power of Mike's able to do that. Okay, you think Mauricio? See, look, Mauricio Sulaiman is a businessman. Okay, you think he would think for a second if Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, when Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder, if that's the scenario, if he beats Deontay Wilder, you think he won't think twice about having Anthony Joshua fighting Tyson Fury? You think he's going to honor that number one mandatory? No, he's going to push the interim silver champion position down Dillian Whyte's throat and push his ass further back for an undisputed fight. Nobody will say shit because that's the fight, and that's the most popular fight that everybody wants to see. Regardless of how good or fair or just it really is, it doesn't matter. So Dillian Whyte is between a rock and a hard place. Now you got a new player to the game that could possibly come in and take his shit. That is what we're looking at. So I'm reading this about Dillian Whyte saying it's stupid. Now, there's truth to what he's saying. Like, he could find other ways, but sometimes if Mike wants to do what he wants to do, like Tyson Fury said, who am I or who are we to judge this man on what he wants to do or what he thinks he can do? Think of it this way. What if he doesn't die in the ring? What if he does hit Tyson Fury and be like, oh shit, he rocked Fury and knocked out Tyson Fury? What if that happened? Then everybody, the whole scenario would change. Okay? That's exactly what will happen. People like, fucking Mike did it. You remember when Joshua was getting beat up by Andy Ruiz the first fight? Do you see how, like, you see how everybody's like, that's how everybody would be looking, that same look. Oh my God. Oh. Right? So it could happen that way. But of course, the worst thing could happen is something seriously bad happen to Mike. And I think he's torn between his position he's trying to get, and I think it is some general concern for Dillian Whyte, but I don't think it's the first motivation to make these statements. But that's my counterpunch on it, guys. You guys tell me what you think about Dillian Whyte's comments towards Mike Tyson's comeback. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.